Hello, my name is Amy Atkinson, and I would like to take a few minutes to share some reflections honoring and highlighting the past issues and the work of past contributors of the Canadian Art Teacher Journal, which we call CAT. The Canadian Art Teacher Journal was developed by Michael J. Emme in 2001. It was created to expand the conversation in art education along with the Canadian Review of Art Education from its predecessor, the Canadian Society of Education Through Art Journal. In issue 9, in reflecting the first 10 years of Canadian Art Teacher Journal, Mike wrote that most artists and art teachers communicate and create as much with their hands as they do with their eyes. Mike believes that we share a creative haptophilia that encourages us to seek a dynamic balance between all the ways we engage with the world. For Mike, this magazine as a form merges somewhere in between the fully symbolic modes of our information age and the tactile immersion in a GUI studio process. This is the reason that Mike stated that he resonates with the ideas of a journal. Mike is an associate professor emeritus in art education at the University of Victoria. According to his artist website, Mike describes himself as an artist working somewhere on the spectrum between printmaker, photographer, digital artist, and cartoonist, exploring how photography and drawing can merge visually and be read both simultaneously and sequentially. As Mike wrote in his inaugural issue, the challenge of the Canadian Art Teacher Journal is to be a publication that in a playful, visual way allows you in the classrooms and studios across this country to celebrate and learn from the great art and art teaching. The original emphasis was on the importance of presenting the visual part of art education. As artists and art teachers, we know that some things are best expressed visually. As Miriam Cooley, the then president of CSEA, described the journal in 2009, it is a really professional journal that both celebrates teachers' creative art education achievements and encourages us all to value the powerful role that visual experiences play in our teaching and in our culture. Hopefully many of you will feel compelled to play a part in the future so that we can use the pages of CAT to create a genuine reflection of our important work together. Since 2001, the Canadian Art Teacher has developed and published 2 issues a year, creating over 40 unique and original issues. Within each issue, art educators submit articles relevant to their research and their classroom practice, sharing strategies, project ideas, relevant concepts, exploring contemporary themes such as integrating arts and sciences, technology, creativity, social justice, reconciliation, sustainability, new materialism, community art, and inclusive practices. Also, within each issue, art educators and CSEA supporters join Mike as guest editors and contributors. The list that makes up this strong community is too long to mention, but I encourage you to explore the past issues of CAT to see the array of artists and art educators that have worked together to build such a strong community and the variety of in-depth and engaging conversations about our current and future directions. In each issue, Mike proposed to have a few key mainstay features. The first is the art inserts. Art inserts were originally designed within the manual journal as a standalone paper presentation. They are focused on personal and practical resources of art making. They were intended to serve as posters for art teachers' classrooms to help visually expand the conversation of contemporary Canadian art. For book reviews, Mike had originally proposed reviews of children's books as visual art. This feature was to support art teachers within classrooms and those interested in the integration of language and images. The goal of these reviews were to draw attention to a sometimes hidden source of contemporary graphic art, much of it Canadian, that will be of interest to art students and teachers of all levels. Also, reviews of video and digital resources as well as traditional printed books were explored. This section has evolved to highlight newly published books on art education by Canadian authors and those that are available directly from CSEA. CAT's focus was also on being a refereed academic publication for those who are doing art education research. Particularly emerging students and art teachers who are doing work within the art classroom and the artistic community are encouraged to submit articles for publication. Following along in that vein, the annual graduate issues serve to share the research in art education that our Canadian graduate students are doing. Graduate students that present at CSEA's annual conferences, like this one, are invited to submit articles and creative work. A graduate student also works as co-editor, serving as an opportunity for graduate students to gain early experience in the publishing world. In 2019, April Mandrana took on the role as the editor of the Canadian Art Teacher, exploring ways to transverse the emerging digital possibilities. April is an assistant professor in the Division of Art History and Contemporary Culture and Art Education at Nova Scotia's College of Art and Design. April developed and directs NASCA's new graduate program in art education. She has published on young people's visual culture, rurality, ethics, and participatory visual research. Her recent SSHRC-funded community art education research with historically excluded groups focuses on the social roles of artistic production and innovative approaches to belonging, well-being, and participation. During her first few years as editor, April explored the ever-emerging digital formats and extended ways to disseminate the journal, making it accessible to the internet through CSE's website. April also continued the art education conversation by exploring themes such as new knowledges, curriculums, new materialities, and difficult conversations within the educational landscape of this place, Turtle Island, that we call Canada. April and her team of volunteer co-editors and submitters were able to re-envision a digital platform for the CAT Journal while keeping the visual focus of the journal front and center. The journal can be read directly online in a journal-esque digital flipbook, but it can also be downloaded as a full-color copy PDF for perusal on your own computer. The inserts are also now digital and in full color. They can be used as digital files and also downloaded directly from CSEA site as PDFs. And now here we are in 2022. Marie-France Berard and myself have come aboard as the new co-editors. An art educator and art historian, Marie-France has been committed to art museum education for more than 20 years. Marie-France is a lecturer at the University of British Columbia. She is also a member of the education team at the Vancouver Art Gallery and president of the Special Interest Group in Education and Mediation in Museum within the Canadian Society for the Study of Education. Under the supervision of Dr. Donald O'Donoghue, she completed her PhD in Curriculum Studies in Art Education at UBC. Her doctoral research is an inquiry into the experience of encountering art using theoretical concepts of desire and assemblage from philosopher Deleuze. She is also invested in contemporary art theory, the notion of the art museum educator as the Deleuzian mediator in complicating the concepts of interpretation and knowledge in the art museum, and in creating pedagogical spaces of encounters for pre-service teachers. I am a PhD candidate and instructor at Concordia University in art education. I have been a Canadian art teacher, specifically within secondary, for over 15 years in Ontario and internationally. My research interests lie in the areas of teacher education, research creation, and exploring ways to support and elevate the role of art teachers both within the schools and communities. As an artist and writer myself, I explore new materialities and ways to encourage sustainability within my practice. Together, Marie-France and I are excited to continue the conversation started by Mike and April. We see the goal of the Canadian Art Teacher Journal as one that enables the exchange of exciting pedagogical issues, disseminates novel art education research, and discusses pertinent issues within the field of art education. Our mission is to elevate, inform, and inspire the practice of art teachers and art educators today. We aim that the Canadian Art Teacher Journal is to be a space of encounter where artistic practice is seen as a distinctive mode of attending to and engaging in the world. We are excited to welcome readers and contributors who are artists, educators, and researchers interested in teaching and learning within visual arts.